And then Eminem at like 50 decided to just be like, fuck it, I'm going back to the old playbook.
Right.
You know, and so I'm hoping this new album has a lot of his old style. And then, you know, it's this dopamine rush of nostalgia where I was like, oh my God, I'm back in 2002. Like that.
Do you feel like someone like Eminem, him going, I'm just fascinated what you think, like going back to his, like you said, original playbook that clearly had success, is like an obvious sign of desperation in a way?
No.
Or is it like he doesn't, because he doesn't have to do that.
No.
But
he doesn't have to do it. You know, he's a very weird case where he is so successful. Like, I didn't even realize that his bad albums were going like 4 or 5 times platinum.
Yeah, probably.
You know, like some of his like shitty albums, like one of them went like diamond, and I was like, this one sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and even the latest ones I think went like 2 or 3. Like they're always going platinum.
Yeah.
So he's always like, I'm still making money and succeeding and all that.
Yeah.
I think he is at the point 50, whatever. Now is the time that you get to do the throwback. You know what I mean?
Having fun at this point.
Yeah. Like I think if he did it, if it was like, that's where it's very hard. It's like, I don't like the new shit he did, but I respect that he was just like, I'm going to rap this fucking fast every single time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use this accent and I'm going to do all these things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like him, but he did like them. And now I think he's earned the right to be like, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to get beats from Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
I'm going to, say some fucked up shit that makes people go, ooh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's desperate when you were on top of the world doing it.
I agree.
It's like a victory lap almost,
Yeah.
you know?
But that's the thing I actually respect about Kanye. You mentioned him, like I feel like continues to evolve his sound, or at least try to.
Yeah.
That's what I think. At least I think a lot of people don't like his newest music, but he's not making things that sound like College Dropout anymore.
No.
So
Which I get.
Yeah.
But I also don't get.
Yeah. I don't know.
The total departure from that. Like,
Yeah.
so rarely. Like, just give me a soul sample and a feature from somebody and just rap a little bit, you know?
Look, I see on my level, I see comments like, I want Quinn to put out stuff that he made back in 2017.
Interesting.
And it's like I actually saw John Bellion, who's an amazing songwriter and producer, artist. He did an interview a couple years ago, and he said something like, I don't care if, I think he said like, if so-and-so from Illinois who's 17 years old doesn't like this new music I'm putting out. For me, I have to evolve and keep doing a new thing, because if I'm not getting satisfaction from it, what am I doing this for? Like, he's like, I could make 20 of the first albums I ever made,
right?
But if I'm not getting any like growth out of it, there's no
And also
benefit.
It's like I'm not 22 anymore.
Exactly.
I'm married
Your tastes
now. I have
change.
kids now.
Yeah.
You know. But then I go back to also like, if you can just make 20 of those records, can you make a couple and break us off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the people who really love the old style, just like, then do it. You know what I mean?
For me, it's weird because a lot of my music's rooted in talking about my ex-girlfriend from high school. And now I'm 32 and married and have a baby, and like, I can't do this anymore. Really. Like, I even need to stop. I've noticed I talk about it a little too much in my shows at times, and I'm like, I just need to kind of like cool that off a little.
But you know what? It's hard, I think, when you hit our stage in life. It's not as like, there's a lot to speak about when it comes to fatherhood and love and growth.
But that's not sexy. That's not the juicy shit.
And you can't do it in like a 2-minute, 3-minute song.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and nobody wants to really hear about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, great, you're a father, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's hear about like your heartbreak or like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, it's a really tough place, actually. I'm glad you said that, to be like happy in your private life, but still make, I don't want to say provocative, but alluring art that people find fascinating.
Right.
So it's that's been a challenge for me recently, is how to like make the standard American happy like lifestyle exciting, you know,
hard.
like being a dad, being a husband.
I do think you have a prime like an athlete does when you make music, or like what I do, where it's like, because I was going out at night and I was like drinking till the sun came up and waking up somewhere I didn't even know where I was, and then I was writing a blog about it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I went to Little League practice last night.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
It is, and I'm hopefully going to try to music is a little different because
Yeah.
you can't write a song about that. I can do a podcast.
If you're a country, you could probably write a song about that.
Yeah,
Little League.
maybe you could. Yeah, Little League baseball with the kid. I pitched 2 amazing innings last night.
Did
by
you?
The way. Everybody got a hit, and they were only like the innings were like 5
are
minutes
the dads or like parents pitching?
Yep.
Okay.
So the goal is not to get them out, is to get them hits. And I was like, bam, bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam.
You throwing any like junk balls in there?
No, right over. I put it right where they want it. But yeah,
That's
I think
awesome.
there's something about that age and it can be different ages. Something about that period of life that's just so awesome. And you can't like recapture it. Do you know Kai Cenat, the streamer?
Yeah, of course.
Last night he had Kevin Hart and Drewski on his stream, and they had a sleepover. That's what Kai does. He does sleepovers.
Didn't he just have Kevin?
He had Kevin and
Drewski
separately. And then he put them together.
I mean, that probably exploded.
700,000 people were watching concurrently.
That is so absurd.
Fucking madness.
I don't do a good job of keeping up with like Twitch streams and like who but like that industry is so
That's the
insane.
next. That's it, man.
So insane.
It's a shame. I feel like I always tried to be like, what's next? Like when I was a blogger,
Yeah.
I started podcasting, and then when I was podcasting, I was like, I got to do short form video, and I feel like streaming is it, but I'm a 40-year-old dad of 2, and like
I was gonna ask you now with your
don't think I
stage of
can.
life, and I'm feeling this right now. Like, do you feel exhausted keeping up with trends and who's
doing those 1 Minute Man videos? I have to be like on top of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, like news broke. I gotta fucking make this video.
Do you have
again,
someone that reports to you like what's going on in the world? Because you probably
I just
can't.
got an intern
Okay.
This summer, and I said, if you can do me a favor, because also this weird thing happens to me where I will consume something, and I'm like my content brain is turned off. Where I just read a headline, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then someone will be like, hey, you haven't made a video on this, and I'm like, oh yeah, how the fuck did I not think to make a video on this one? So he sends me. I just told him, text me any headlines you see.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't, but maybe it'll jar my brain to do it,
Yeah.
So he's 22, so he's like
He's got nothing else to do.
Yeah. So I finally just started doing that. That's another thing I learned, and I'm sure this is big in the music industry, definitely with Kendrick and Drake and reference tracks and writing and all that shit, ghostwriting. Like I have great producers and stuff, but like I'm pretty much done everything myself. I wrote my own blogs.